So Microsoft Teams is about a year and a half old, and it is already becoming a linchpin to a lot of organizations' communication and collaboration experiences. In fact, at PixelMill, it's become our hub for communication and collaboration. We used to use email, we used to use SharePoint, we used to use Planner, we used to use all these other tools, and we all lived in them kind of separately. Microsoft Teams has allowed us, and it's allowing our clients too, to sort of unify that. And as Teams continues to improve and gets more richer experiences within the tabs, I see Teams becoming the true hub for the initial spot where you live for communication and collaboration. We won't need to email as much anymore when we communicate internally as well as externally. We don't need external tools to host both internal and external meetings. If we want to surface more content, we can use tabs now to surface SharePoint pages. We can reference SharePoint lists and libraries, and just recently announced here in May of 2018, you can now surface, or you'll be able to soon surface, SharePoint framework web parts within Team tabs. This is just, I think, going to be mind-blowing for communication and collaboration experiences that will live within Teams. Now, that's not to say that SharePoint is in any way diminished or otherwise different. I see no, rather this is a great thing for SharePoint. SharePoint's still the best place to store documents and libraries, to store custom components, to store portals, etc. We just now have a new portal, a new way in which to surface that content, a new canvas, shall we say, that I think is really fascinating. So the Microsoft Graph helps bring together all of the content and information sort of about you and what's interesting to you in Office 365. And through the Graph API, we're able to now surface that content. The Microsoft Graph API is also supposed to be the API to unify them all. So no longer should we need a SharePoint REST API or API, Exchange API. We really can just use the Graph API to get everything. It still has some ways to go. It's not feature parity yet with all these APIs, but it's getting much better. Okay, so the Graph API, we can now use it though to access more and more of Office 365 content and experiences that we have. And with the announcements of native Graph API integration in SharePoint Framework, we're just going to see some really cool experiences that are going to be built within SharePoint Online and then can be surfaced within Microsoft Teams to access the graph using the Graph API and using this native access that I think is going to create amazing experiences and results for organizations. So what is SharePoint Spaces? Basically, it's virtual reality, augmented reality, or really VR within SharePoint. And a lot of us, including myself, were like, wow, that's interesting, but It was kind of weird. It was like in the clouds, like, what are they thinking over there, Microsoft? What we're looking to do, or what Microsoft is looking to do, is not offer virtual reality of, say, just a document library. It's not virtual reality of SharePoint. It's more a virtual reality canvas that is hosted on SharePoint, that provides a web interface with a drag and drop interface to create a VR experience, a virtual world, a 3D space, without having to know any complex language. You have this browser-based canvas where you can drag and drop your components into it and create these experiences that can represent anything. This is where it's cool, and this is why it's, to me, revolutionary. There is no other really good VR space that I'm aware of that works within just a general web browser, that gives you a 2D space as well as a 3D headset space. You don't need a headset here. That's really cool. But you can consume your virtual reality, augmented reality experiences on a SharePoint site through a drag and drop interface. That's pretty cool. I don't think we're going to see this tomorrow. I think it's going to take time to work. I think it's going to take time for Microsoft to build out. I think at Ignite 2018 we'll learn a lot more. And this isn't for everybody. This is probably for larger organizations or organizations that can invest in these experiences or already have need for 3D modeling and they'd like to surface it better. So I'm real excited. It's a little bit in the clouds, but it's really great to see Microsoft making these investments in tomorrow's technology.